Here we have iFlyRC.com's latest frame. It's called the iFly iX5 Ultimate. So it comes in this box, as most of their frames do. It's a pretty simple frame in the sense that it's got very few parts. As most frames these days have very few parts, because most of them are using the one-piece bottom plate. So that's what we get: the bottom plate, top plate, and there's two camera cage plates, and there's a FC plate. So this one, I guess you use it on top of your FC or on top of your 4-in-1 ESC in case you want to mount something on top. I don't use it. I think most people don't use that, so it just takes up space, and you don't want any conductive carbon on top of your other components, so it's better to just use foam or something. And hardware, so standoffs and some screws. They also give you some landing foam pads, 4 of them, in case you want to protect it if you're landing on rough surfaces all the time, and a rubberized Velcro strap for the battery. So as you can see, very few parts. Basically, there's only, if you take out the FC plate, there's only basically four plates and hardware. That's it. Okay, so what's interesting about this frame, it's made of out of a true composite. So it's carbon fiber on both top and bottom on the outside, and then in the middle the core is made out of balsa wood. This one's made out of balsa wood, so that's kind of neat, different. They also use plastic reinforcement along the edges, and it makes for a really nice finish here along the edges. This reinforcement, they're saying it's supposed to help with strengthening the frame. First type of frame that has that, so there's not that many reports on if it works or if it's just gimmick or what, but it certainly looks really good. The frame does feel a little bit stiffer than the normal carbon, and here's just for reference, this is a real ACC bottom plate. This one definitely flexes more, like with the same amount of force. I mean, this is just by feel, it just feels like this one flexes more. And this one's 4 millimeter thick. Actually 4.25, 4.2. So this is like 4.2 millimeters thick. And this one is 4.1, 4.08, 4.06, 4.1. So this is slightly thinner. So let's look at the geometry of this frame, just some measurements. Front across motor to motor is about 160 millimeters, and rear motors is 139, and the diagonal motor to motor, which is this is what this size that the frames are measured. This is 210 millimeters. So just for comparison, let me put this one right on top. This is more of a conventional geometry. So the motors are equidistant on both arms. As if you can see, the iX5 Ultimate has a slightly different geometry. It's the front motors are farther apart from each other than the rear ones are. So in the rear, these are closer than in the front. So one of the reasons that the front motors are farther apart is because the portion here where the camera is mounted sticks out this way. So in order to clear the standoffs, they have to the motors have to be a little bit farther apart, so that the 5-inch prop clears the standoff. Whereas in the back, there's nothing that sticks out this way, so they're able to have them closer together. So it's just a different geometry. I've been flying the other one, the iX5, which has similar geometry with the motors farther apart in the front and the back, and I can't tell the difference. It flies just the same as a frame like this. Today's FCs with Betaflight do a really good job at maintaining attitude, even when you have a sort of uneven geometry. 52.5, and just for comparison, this one feels a little bit heavier. 65.7, about 13 grams or so heavier. So it must be the added plastic reinforcement that it's kind of made it gain a little bit weight, because the other one that I reviewed, iX5S I think it is, all together with all the all assembled, I think the frame was 62 or 63 grams or so, much lighter. But that one uses foam core as a part of the composite, and it doesn't have the plastic reinforcement, so the edges are not as nice as this one. It's kind of rough, but yeah, it is lighter. So putting this together, I mean, it should be pretty easy. There's not that many components, so get all the hardware out. So they give you these nylon standoffs and some countersunk screws. These were slightly longer than what they should be. They should be about 5 millimeters, and they were much longer than that. I think they were 8 millimeters. So so hopefully on the frames they ship, they changed them to shorter screws, because these go right there, which is kind of nice. They're countersunk, so this is gonna be flush. So when you mount the battery, there's no screw head that's gonna dent the battery. Anyway, most people put some kind of foam here, or Velcro or something to help the battery stay in place. But it's still nice to have this flush right there. One thing I want to mention is when you on this type of material, when you mount the motor or the standoffs, you don't really want to tighten it way too much, because you may end up crushing the through the core, through the core material. So this type of composite doesn't do well when you put a lot of stress, like compressive stress, on a very small area. It may crush it, so that'll compromise the structural integrity. You would have to really tighten it a lot for that to happen. So let's quickly put it together. So there it is, all put together. As I said, it's pretty simple frame, not much to it. Feels pretty sturdy. So let's see what it weighs all put together. Without the FC plate, it weighs in at 81.4 grams. 81.6 grams, and with the center plate, 83.6. So a bit heavier than what they're saying on the website. I'm sure it's an error, because It's about 12 or 13 grams higher or something like that. I forget what they say, but it's definitely not the correct weight on the website. So 86 grams is not the lightest, not the heaviest. It's kind of like slightly around the middle, but it certainly looks pretty nice. So there you have it. I'll be putting some the iForce motors that iFlyRC, the Composite, and I'll be using their 4-in-1 board, which I'm reviewing also. They call it the Poseidon, and this one is 25 amp ESCs, Omnibus with OSD, F4 board, and it's got current sensor and black box logging through a SD card. So that's gonna be pretty cool, just to be able to use just this one all-in-one board. Is the first one I use, so I'm gonna find out how good these things are, if they're tunable, if they're noisy, or what have you. So then all you need is the camera, the receiver, and the VTX, and that's it. Pretty simple. So it makes things easy. So I'll be putting this together soon and flying it as soon as I get some time. I got a whole bunch of motors to test. So thanks for watching, and until the next one.